We're currently on pace to having one of the best tournament arcs in anime history, and this tournament arc is about to arise in To Be Hero X. And I'm talking about the best tournament arc in terms of everything, as far as fights, animation, choreography, as well as stakes, backstory, everything that's built up leading into these tournaments, these fights, how everything's gonna pay off throughout the story. And leading into it, I'm breaking down the top 10 heroes, because these are the 10 heroes, the only ones who was able to compete in this tournament. So for that, we're breaking down their backstory, their motivations and goals leading up to this tournament, everything that went down with each and every one of them, also the foreshadowing and connections they have with each other's stories, the breadcrumbs and tidbits the authors, the mangakas have been leaving us about what we can expect coming forward. We already did 3 heroes already: rank 7 hero Lucky Cyan, rank 10 hero Ling Ling the Commoner, as well as the number 9 ranked hero ESO. So you go check out those videos. You want the full backstories, everything that's built up, and all the anticipation to see their fights in this upcoming tournament. And in this video, we're breaking down the number 2 ranked hero, the prodigy Queen, everything that went on in her life, how did she become the number 2 hero, and all the connections, threads that have been so well crafted and sewn throughout this show, her impact on the other top 10 heroes. They just finished Lowly's story, as well as they're going into Ghostblade, so that's going to be our next 2 characters, so you guys can be on the lookout for that. But as usual, you can leave a like, comment, subscribe, and let's go ahead and break down the number 2 ranked hero, Queen. So like I said, Queen, she was a prodigy from a very young age. She even went to college and graduated in 2 years, all before turning 15 years old. And with that, at her graduation, she gave a speech that inspired and moved the woman of the world, the femininity, telling them basically you can do and be whatever you say, and talking about her goal and path, her road to the crown. And we could see this speech over the course of this anime inspiring multiple other main heroes, such as Lucky Cyan, where we heard her and her friend listening to this speech over the radio, as well as the hero we're going to talk about in our next video, Lowly, her being inspired most of all by Queen. Now Queen giving this speech, a lot of people scoffed and laughed at the idea of a woman becoming Hero X, but with her giving this speech, the popularity of multiple women within the hero world rose. And once again, in this show, your popularity, your power and abilities come from how much people trust and believe in you to get the job done. So with this, she also helped the prominent hero Boa rise to the top as well and be able to compete in the tournament to become Hero X. Boa put in a lot of work growing up to achieve her dream of being Hero X, but it once again was the speech by Queen that sparked this wave and movement of people believing in women superheroes more than ever. And with that spark, there was a greater push of advertisement and just trust in these women that they could do the same job or have the same capabilities, if not better, than the men in the hero world. And once again, Boa entering the Hero X tournament fights the winner of the last Hero X tournament in the finals, Smile, and they have a fantastic fight that's back and forth. But Boa, having all this intensity, showcases her power on the greatest stage of all, everything she's been working hard for over the course of these years, and pulls out the win against Smile, becoming Miss X, the second woman Hero X in the last 2 decades. And as she achieves this goal, Queen reaches the top 10. So this pits them against one another, as in the next Hero X tournament, they will possibly have to meet head to head. And they're both currently signed to the same agency, DOS, who is also pushing this rivalry of them against one another, making them go head to head. Basically saying only one of them could come on top, become the face of the company, the agency, and be Hero X. So Boa, feeling Queen, the pressure, Queen rise to the top, feeling inevitable, is getting jealous, getting angry. Everything she worked for feels like it's being taken away from her. And now at this point, Queen is introduced to Lucky Cyan as well as the Johnnies. The Johnnies, another hero in the top 10. Gonna talk about him in another video when his episodes are out. But nonetheless, the Johnnies asked Lucky Cyan to use her power on Queen. You know, she got the power of luck to give people the ability to have whatever they want come true. But Queen, being true to herself, wants to earn it, wants to feel like she deserved it, doesn't want to use Lucky Cyan's power, wants to go into the hero tournament on her own free will and feels like she could win. Boa sees this conversation in the distance, only making her even more angry, thinking of the possibility that Queen will even use this power to take control, use this power to get an edge on her, is how she's looking at it. Now, going into this annual heroes tournament, it was expected to be Queen and Boa going into the final round. Of course, that didn't happen. With Queen making it there, the other person who came out the other side of the entrance, it was actually Hero X. It was a shock to everyone. No one really knows anything about him, his powers, his abilities, but nonetheless, the fight between him and Queen is scheduled to take off. Just as quickly as it starts, it's immediately over as Queen faints, passes out immediately without even getting a chance to show her powers, her capabilities, or anything. And we have no idea how Hero X's power even works. And upon losing this fight, Hero X doesn't even stay in the hero tower. He doesn't stay way at the top. It's abandoned, so no one is able to question him or ask him anything about his powers, abilities, about how he feels about being the #1 hero in the world. In the meanwhile, Queen, she's upset, she's disappointed, she's frantically searching and looking at social media and the news, talking about her failure, because prior to this moment, she has never lost or not achieved a dream or goal she had set in her mind. She went into deep despair, not knowing what to do. Now, this is where her story connects with Lucky Cyan's once again. If you guys watched that video, there became a time where everyone thought her powers of luck came at the cost of everyone else's misfortune. So the news started spreading that Queen failed because of Cyan. Now, Queen never believed this for a second, and while watching Cyan's big concert and performance she put on for the world, the same one that the new ESO Yang and his friends were supposed to attend, if you guys watched that video, once again, all that's coming full circle. This is what lifted her spirits and lifted her out of this despair to start to believe in her goal and dream once again. And also remember, her dad is the one who saved Cyan from the plane crash, or who at least found her after the plane crash, her being a sole survivor, and took her to the orphanage. So her dad knew about the recording of what really happened on the plane, and Queen giving Cyan this information is what allows Cyan and her story to go and spread the truth about her survival, about how she got her power, and how Cyan then became the 7th ranked hero in the world. So Queen had a big part to play in inspiration for the woman superheroes as a whole, but also Cyan breaking into the top 10. Now, Queen decided to go back and focus on her goal once more. Once again, Boa angry about this as well, believing that Queen used her dad's connections, DOS, as well as her relationship with Lucky Cyan, surpass her in hero rankings and take all her opportunities of being the face of the agency. So going into the next episode, Queen is feeling better than ever. She's feeling more empowered. She's locked in on her goal, her motivation once again, and she connects back with her friends, the Johnnies and Lucky Cyan, the people that are close to her and that are important. She goes back on mission, saving the public, using her powers and abilities, showing great control. She's more well prepared for this upcoming Hero X tournament. Now, unfortunately for Boa, on the other side of things, she's no longer in the top 10, with Queen's rise to the top being the #2 hero. So because of this, she's unable to compete in the Hero X tournament as a whole. Meanwhile, Queen, she's studying up on Hero X, his possible friends and connections, alliance, how his abilities could possibly work, where she could get an edge and try to fight back and attack and actually get the job done this time. But she also wants to continue helping the civilians of the world, protecting them at all costs. So even the day before the tournament is scheduled to start, she's out and still doing everything she can to protect the world. And upon this happening, the Johnnies and Lucky Cyan calls her and lets her know, come in for for the night. You're well prepared. You need to relax. You've done everything you can do. It's time to just have a good night's rest with your friend and be ready for the fights tomorrow. Now, she finally decides that that is the best decision for her, but once she decides to head home, she is then out of nowhere attacked by Boa. And honestly, this is anime fight of the year easily. Boa fully enraged at this point. Her popularity has dwindled down drastically, but somehow she's stronger than ever. Her rage is overflowing and she's ready to kill Queen. She doesn't want to give her another chance or opportunity to be Hero X, because once again, she felt like everything she worked hard for to get to this point was stripped and taken away from her in favor of Queen. And once again, this fight is fantastic. There are so many ups, downs, lefts, right, back and forth between these two characters, where it seems like they're almost evenly matched. Queen with her huge popularity, but Boa's overwhelming rage firing back against her. And everything about this fight is so fucking dope due to the built up rivalry, the location taking place at this shipyard where they're using these containers in various ways, splitting them in half, using them for movement, slamming each other into them for damage, lifting them in the air, using it to rise above one another, clashing back and forth. And Queen is realizing with how much aggression Boa is attacking her with that she has no choice but to go all out as well. Boa not letting up. At one point, she literally sends Queen flying into the air and then fucking Batista bombs her into a stack of the shipment crates, which looks like it fucking hurts. Queen, her mask cracks, breaks off. We see the visual bruises and damage upon her, but now it's time for her to go on the offensive and actually fight back. Now, I didn't really explain Queen's powers or abilities, but I will do that here, where she has the capability of creating this dome around her, and all people in proximity to her has to follow this set of rules and conditions she set. So if she tell you stand still, don't move, you have no choice but to abide by that. And she used this on Boa earlier in the episode, stopped Boa in her tracks when Boa first tried to attack her, and Boa showed signs of being able to break this ability earlier on. Now with her being 10 times stronger due to her built up animosity and resentment towards Queen, she's able to easily break through these conditions that Queen has set. But once you break these rules, Queen's power becomes amplified and she becomes even stronger as well. So just when things were swinging in Boa's favor, Queen begins to fight back. Hey, if you haven't watched this fight or To Be Hero X and for some reason you're watching this video, I highly suggest you go and even just watch this episode. It's episode 12 of the series, and this fight is legit 7 to 8 minutes long, and it's pure chaos, fun, and action, beginning, middle, and end. But of course, it has to come to an end, and with Queen's power consistently rising, she decides to end this with one final blow and clash, where she then impales Boa into the crates. Boa trying to still fight back, but Queen is too strong. She overwhelms her, and the fight is officially over. After this, Queen cut to a scene of her waking up in the hospital, trying to rush to the tournament to fight to be the next X. To her dismay, she has actually been asleep and out cold, and she has missed the entirety of the tournament. Another year goes by, isn't able to compete or fight against X and show what she's actually capable of doing. So X was able to retain his spot as the #1 hero, and then he once again disappears, unable to be contacted by anyone. We did get Lucky Cyan coming to visit Queen and gives her a hug, and Queen realizes everything that's important to her and how she can let her hair down, she can relax, and she even gets a vacation from DOS, a new car, and they send her on her merry way. Her episodes actually ends with Big Johnny, the dog cat that's belongs to Lil Johnny, turning into his monstrous form, and that's where it cuts off at. He kind of looks like Anubis, if you guys even know who Anubis is, the guy. But Yeah, so that's where it ends off. So overall for Queen's story, she did everything with a purpose in her life and an intent on becoming the top ranked hero X, and she wanted to do this because she felt like the current system of heroes I was working wasn't the right way to go about it, and that the real power lies within the people. Of course, once again, this speech sparked this feminism movement where women superheroes became more popular than ever. Women inspired by her who then become heroes like Lucky Cyan and Loli, who we're going to talk about in the next video. But then she finally tastes failure and defeat at the hands of a mystery person who then becomes Hero X. In the meanwhile, this rivalry brewing between her and Boa overflows and ends with an all-out battle between the two as Boa fell out the top 10 and her jealousy reached a boiling point. Queen comes out on top within this fight, but unfortunately it costs her the next year's tournament, and the mystery man remained Hero X once again. She's a very ambitious character with specific goals and objectives and dreams, so many aspirations she wants to obtain, that she seems like the best person as far as the heroes we've seen so far to take the spot of X. So we're gonna have to see how she continues into this tournament. Does she finally actually get the chance and opportunity to showcase what she's able to do in this format against the current Hero X? Once again, the thing this series does pretty well is tying in all these characters with one another, having these connections and tidbits dropped throughout each of these episodes, leaving you wanting more. Like I said, we're setting up to have one of the best tournament arcs in anime history, with these characters, their motivations and desires and backstories all being so well fleshed out. I just know with the way they're connecting these characters to one another, the matchups we receive when this tournament comes about is gonna be fucking crazy. When we finish talking about all the top 10 heroes, I think this is the fourth person we've just finished, I'm gonna make a video on the possible first, second round matchups and who I think will win the entirety of the tournament, because I think a lot of the rivalries and fights are set up to where we should get specific matchups and things should fall into place to where I think we could have a good idea of who's gonna win. As usual, you guys can leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you enjoyed To Be Hero X, let me know any other anime or shows or what animation you want to see me make a video on in general. But I'm out.